Hey guys, it's Tiana here from Car Buzzin', and today I'm going to take you through one of my car tips. And we are going to go for the all-challenging how to change a tyre. But I do need to point out before I start, I have only ever done this once, so please bear with me. I'm certainly no expert, but hopefully can share some of my ideas along the way. So the most important thing you have to do first is make sure you have a spare tyre. Please, before you go on any big road trip, check that you do have a spare tyre and check that it is pumped up and ready to go. So if we come around, we need to make sure we have the right tools to do the job. So you should always have in the back, like I said, a spare tyre and a jack to be able to do it. So let's grab out the tools we're going to need. It's great to keep these in the same place so you know exactly where they are. So you'll find the tyre is always kept underneath the boot in a compartment. So flip it up, always screwed in. Make sure you unscrew, and they can be quite tight as I learned earlier today. Pop that out, and then we just need to pull the tyre out. Oh, a little bit of muscle is needed for this job. And then again, let's roll this around the front. Okay, so now that we're organised to go, the first thing we need to do is make sure we loosen off the tyre bolts. What's really important, we loosen first. We don't want to do this once the car's already up on the jack, because sometimes you've got to put a bit of muscle power into it, and we don't want the car to have too much movement when it's up in the air. So get your tool, pop it onto the nut, just like that. Now, here comes the tricky parts. Men, you'll be fine. Ladies, a little bit tougher. We need to loosen this off. Now, you'll find that you won't really be able to do it with hand strength. You're going to need to get your body into it. So the easiest way is don't do what I did earlier today and stand back. Get straight up amongst it. The corner of your foot, you really want to kick down, just like I did there, to loosen it off. Ladies, if you are wearing high heels, it's not going to be safe and it's not a good idea, so just make sure you can find something flat to wrap around the end. So now that we've loosened this off a little bit, let's make sure it is loose, great. We can move to the car jack. So it's really important when you're about to put the jack under the car that you do have a look. Most of them will actually have an image on there that shows you the little grooves that it's to slide into under the car, and it's really important that we get that in the right place so we can jack the car up and it's safe. We're just going to go all the way up until it fits under the car. Beautiful, and you'll feel a little bit of tension on there once it's in place. Next, get our handy tools. We slide our hook on, just like this, and at the end, go straight in like this. Then what we want to do is start winding up. And as we wind up, you'll notice the car is going to move up. Really important, guys, to make sure that your car is in park and you do have the brake on as we do this. Okay, so now we just want to check that we have got the tyre up high enough. So you just want to get your hand and slide it under just to make sure that you can get all your fingers under, as we're going to need to pull that tyre off and wheel it out the way to pop on the new tyre. So now we have loosened the nut, which is what we did first, and you would have noticed I only just loosened the nut off a little bit. I did not take them off. It's really important we don't take them off until we've jacked up the car, it's in the air. Now we can go back and remove all of those nuts. So now that we've taken that off, it's time to pull the tyre off. So again, bending at the knees, we don't want to hurt our back. Just pop your hands in amongst it. You should be able to lift it up slightly, straight down, and you want to wheel it away from the car. Now that we've removed the flat tyre, it's time to put on our new tyre. Something important to point out for you, with your spare tyres in the back, it's really important that you read what the maximum speed limit is. A lot of them will be 80k or less, and make sure you stay on the lower side of that. You can see it's not a full tyre for a car this size, so it's not really supposed to go long distances, so please make sure that you do get to where you need to get the right tyre put on. And the other thing is these need to be pumped up quite hard. So on the side of the tyre, it will tell you what the PSI needs to be. So for example, in this car, normally my PSI is about 34. This tyre needs to be about 60, okay? So making sure that that's all done prior to going on a big trip, it's a lot safer. Then what we want to do is just lift it up. You've got to line up the screws with the holes, which can be quite challenging, and slide it on, just like that. Now what I suggest you do, as you can see it almost slipped off there, is get one nut and always tighten your top one. That way, if for example the jack drops or you let go like I just did, you've already got one on and it's in place. So we'll just pop the top one on first, just hand strength to start with, and then we'll go back and make sure we tighten it up. All right, now that we've screwed them all on with hand strength, it's time to make sure we tighten them up as much as we can with our tools provided. And by now, if you're like me, you're working up a sweat. It's no easy task, is it? So you just want to tighten them so there's no movement. And remember, be gentle because your car is up in the air and you don't want it to fall off the jack as you're doing this. So guys out there, we don't need all of your strength in this one. And there we go. Spare tyre is on the car. Okay guys, now that we've got the tyre on the car and we've done those bolts up nice and tight, we need to remove the jack and pop it back in the boot where it all came from. So as you can see today, I've shown you that anyone can change a tyre. I will say it has been a workout. There will certainly be no gym for me this afternoon, but we do always recommend that you call roadside assist first. However, this is really just a tip if you get absolutely stuck in those emergency situations. Thank you for joining me on my journey today in changing a tyre. It's certainly been a fun experience, and stay tuned for my next tip.